What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. And I thought I would cover the Chicago Pro 212 prejudging. Just finished a couple hours ago. I just wanted to run through the top six and let you guys know my thoughts and let you know where I think everybody placed and how they did. And then you guys can comment below and let me know if you think I'm crazy or you think I'm on the mark. And let me know what you guys think about where you had the guys placed. So let's get into it. We're going to go on to Bodybuilders Without Borders Instagram here. He's got some good photos. And we're going to just start with the top six lineup. Let me just zoom in now since I know how, kind of. Okay. So here we have Keon Pearson in the middle with Kareth Bajo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. We have Ahmed Wadarni. And on the outside here, we have Oswaldo Gonzalez. Over here, we have John Jewett next to Keon and Jason Hebert on the end here. So this is your top six call out. And right off the bat, I see Keon's shape stands out to me more than anybody else. It just, the really flowing quads, really tight waist with a good vacuum, flaring lats, good arms, everything fits together very, very well. Now, not far off is Kareth right next to him. He has a different structure. I mean, his stomach doesn't have the nice tight vacuum. It's a little bit thicker, I think, than Keon's, but he's got really good legs, good lats, good arms, very thick, especially from the back. We're going to go through some of the other poses in a second. So Kareth, I was actually very, very impressed by, and thought he really pushed Keon, and it's definitely to me, it's definitely a toss up between these two. I personally have Keon winning the show right now based primarily on shape. I did think from watching the video, and video doesn't tell the whole story, but I did think from watching the video, he was a couple percent off. It looked like he was still holding a little bit of water. I don't think Kareth's condition was that much better. So these two could flip 1 and 2, and I wouldn't see any issue with that. But I personally have Keon winning, Kareth second. When it comes to third place, it's a little tougher. I thought I had I thought I had John Jewett in third based on conditioning, because his conditioning is just lights out, better than everybody else's, but not so far above everybody else's that you can deny Ahmed Wadarni here, because his structure is really, really nice. Got good muscle bellies, tight waist, good arms, great legs. And then we're going to go through some of the other poses. But from the front here, I have Ahmed in third, John Jewett fourth. Now, Oswaldo here on the far left was actually shocking at his size and height for a 212, but he carried a lot of muscle, presented it well, was in really good shape. I have him in fifth over Jason Hebert only based on size. Jason Hebert is a good shape, good structure, good conditioning, but I do feel like he gave up a little bit of muscle mass to Oswaldo. So I have Jason kind of pulling up the sixth spot. So let's go through some of the poses. On the front double, that's kind of how I have them placed. Keon first, Kareth second, Ahmed third, John Jewett fourth, Oswaldo fifth, and Jason Hebert sixth. And we'll see if it holds true as we go through the poses. So we get to the front lat spread. I still kind of see the same thing with 1 and 2. Kareth is more heavily muscled, but also has a thicker waist. Keon's structure is a little nicer, has more of an X frame. I really feel like that's going to carry him over. So I still have him in first here. As far as a third place spot, I still have Ahmed in third. He's a little bit more thicker and a little bit more shapely than John Jewett. If you look at John's legs, he has very good legs, but the sweep doesn't really sweep off the knee to the hip as much as you see over here in Ahmed's legs. So that extra muscle and extra shape is what's going to give him third in this pose. I have John Jewett fourth here. And then again, I think Oswaldo pulls up a little bit more muscle and his conditioning is equal to Jason. So that puts him a little bit over Jason. So I have Jason in 6th, Oswaldo in 5th. We'll move on to the next pose in the back. Things may change a little bit here, but let's start it out. So immediately my eyes are drawn to Kareth here because he's got a very thick, heavily muscled back. He's got great hamstrings, very thick hamstrings. They're corded, split, glutes are hard. I do think from watching the video, he wasn't posing his glutes all the time. So at times they appeared soft. But from the back, I feel like he's got more muscle than Keon. Keon still representing the cleaner, nicer shape, but not necessarily as conditioned as Kareth from the back. So this one's a toss-up. If I'm being honest, in this shot, I feel like Kareth really kind of takes this shot. I have him in 1st here. So if we go, we did a front lat spread and we did a front double. So if we go Keon 2 places and then Kareth for the back double, and then we'll put Keon 2nd in that back double. Now 3rd gets interesting because I feel like John Jewett actually moves up a spot here in the back double over Ahmed. His back looks a little bit thicker through the lats. Glutes are equally as hard. Hamstrings are a little bit harder. But overall, I feel like John's presenting this shot a little bit better. I feel like maybe if Ahmed was leaning back a little bit in the same manner that John was, it might show his back a little bit better. But I feel like John's got this pose here, so I would put him in 3rd in this shot. And those are kind of the battles to me. The battles to me are between Keon and Kareth for 1st and Ahmed and John for 3rd. So that's kind of the 2 battles I have going on in my mind when I watch the show. So we're going to give, and in that sense, we're going to give 1 to John so far and then 2 to Ahmed from the front. Let's see what we have in the back. Oh, now we got the ab and thigh. And in the ab and thigh, it's hard to deny Keon here. The way he's posing it kind of makes him look a little better. Kareth's waist is his weak point on his physique. It's a little bit thicker just because he's more heavily muscled. So he's going to be a little bit thicker through the midsection. But I think Keon's shape here really sets him apart. So I'm going to give this one to Keon. I'll put Kareth in 2nd. As far as John and Ahmed go, I'm going to have to say Ahmed looks better in this shot than John. So I still have him in 3rd. And then Jason is actually doing a better job of posing, but I don't know if Oswaldo is fully in the pose here. As we move on to the side tricep. Again, I'm going to say kind of the same theme continues. Kareth's conditioning, I feel like, is a little better than Keon's. Keon's still holding a small film of water, but his shape is going to carry him over in this shot. It just, everything kind of fits together so perfectly. It's hard to deny him. And then with John and Ahmed, the same thing continues. Ahmed's got a little more muscle. John's got a little more conditioning. It really could go either way, but I'm going to say Ahmed's better here. So I'm going to give him 3rd spot here. In the side chest, that's a tough one. I mean, Kareth's side of the leg is very thick. It's hard to deny that. He's very thick through the chest. Keon's got him in the shoulders and arms. So that's a little tougher. It might go for Kareth, that shot, just because that side of the leg is so impressive and the chest is so thick. As far as I'm going to give Kareth 1st in that shot. As far as Ahmed and John go, that side of the leg for John, the hamstring drop, chest looks a little thicker, but again, the arms and shoulders look a little thicker on Ahmed. I'm going to say John has 3rd there, and then Oswaldo's pulling up 5th, and Jason pulling up 6th. Back lat spread. Tough to beat Keon on that. I mean, Keon's back looks really good there. The problem is Kareth's legs, I think, are thicker and a little bit more separated. But I think I'm going to have to go with Keon that. His back looks very good in that shot, so I'm going to have to go with Keon there. But there's actually more detail showing in Kareth's back now that I look at it. So, we're looking at this together. I'm going to have to give this back shots Kareth, I think. The detail, Keon's back looks a little wider and thicker, but the detail in Careth's back, and then in combination with the quad, the hamstring, the glute, I might have to give the back shots to Careth. So moving on to John, Jewett, and Ahmed, I'm going to say John's showing more detail in the back, same amount of thickness in the legs, same conditioning, if not a little better through the upper body. I have to give John third on that one. And I'm going to go Oswaldo. Oswaldo's not flexing his glutes in that shot, so I can't tell for sure, but the size of his back is pretty tremendous. I do know his glutes are harder than that. They're just not showing in this photo. So I'm going to give this shot. I'm going to give fifth place to Oswaldo here. He could actually, this shot, if he was actually fully in the pose, may look better than Ahmed's, but I don't think it's going to be enough to pull him ahead in all the spots. And then we finish with the most muscular. Oswaldo looks great here. He stands out immediately. It's probably because he's square to the camera, though. Also, these guys are all turned a little bit. And his size is great. I mean, he's got a ton of muscle, very striated, very conditioned. Ahmed looks great here too. A good crab shot, or sorry, a good hands clasp, most muscular. Careth, I can't see too much. He's kind of turning towards the judges. Keon also is kind of turned a bit, so you can't really see the amount of muscularity, but this shot's not going to make or break the show. So I have some closer up video here we'll take a look at. So they're going to call them out. It's actually a very, very good lineup. They're not, you know, none of these guys, there's a couple good battles here going on. It's not a clear cut winner. And, you know, they all kind of give up a little something in certain poses. So off the bat, when I see this, just to pause for a second, off the bat, when I see this, you can see Oswaldo here, because he's a little bit taller, he's carrying a lot of muscle and he looks bigger structurally, but muscularity wise, he just doesn't stand. He's not able to stand with Ahmed and Careth and Keon. He's a little bit thinner through the arms, a little bit thinner through the chest. So, you know, I don't know what his weight was. I don't know if he's going to have to move up to open, or if he's got more room to fill out his physique, but he's got to fill this physique out more before he can beat someone like Careth or Keon. He's got a little bit more work to do that way, and you can see it kind of from far away when you look. So we've moved him around, and you can see immediately from standing, you know, just standing in a relaxed pose, you can see the size, the immense size of Careth. He's very thick for a 212 guy. And his structure, you know, when you pause it, his structure is very good. You know, when it comes to winning the show, you know, I know Keon is the heavy favorite, but Careth looks very good. And this is a kind of a grainy video, so you can't see the conditioning, but you could easily give this show to Careth based on his muscularity. So the video shows a little bit better the condition more than the photos, I think. And you can see here, Careth and Keon are kind of equally conditioned. Careth maybe looks a little bit harder in some areas, but if Careth was harder, he would be walking away with this show. But I'm not sure yet. So let's keep watching. So as we go through the quarter turns, I see John Jewett stands out to me in third over Ahmed, only because his stomach looks a little tighter, his quads and hamstrings look a little thicker. They're probably equal through the chest, but he just kind of looking like he's got a little bit more shape through the side. Let's see as they quarter turn to the back. Now, let's see here. So they're all kind of open now. I don't think, see, just so people watching, Oswaldo over here is not flexing his glutes. It doesn't mean he's out of shape. He's trying to, there's two ways to pose your glutes. You can see as Ahmed stands here, you see his glutes are shredded and he's pulling his legs inwards, like he's sucking everything in. And Oswaldo is pushing everything out, and that's in an effort to make this adductor look thicker. See the thickness between his legs? You can't get that. That's why you don't see it here, because when you pull your legs together, when you pull your glutes forward, you lose that adductor thickness. So Oswaldo has made a decision to pose this way in an effort to show more adductor and make his legs look thicker, which is working, but also is kind of working against him, because now you're seeing how shredded Ahmed is, and he's not really showing his conditioning, even though he's in condition. So then moving through the lineup, guys. these two, like I keep saying, Keon and Kareth are very close. They have a different shape. You can see Kareth's back drops a little lower. The lat sinks all the way a little bit lower into the hip. Keon's is a little bit higher, but flares out a little further. So you have two kind of separate shaped backs here. Keon's glutes look a little bit harder than Kareth's. Kareth's legs look a lot thicker. Detail wise, they're very close. So, like I said, these two could flip flop. And then you have John in the back here, or John on the right here. Very, very conditioned, maybe a little flat. Looks like he could use a little bit more roundness to the muscle from this back shot. As they go through the quarter turn again. See, it's weird. It's interesting when you see people pose because you see John Jewett's leg and you see the flowing mass off the hip all the way through the knee. And then also this curve here in the back flowing from the hamstring. You can tell he's got very thick legs. But when he's in his back shot, as you see here, it's a little bit more straight up and down. So it's funny when you see some people, the way the muscle inserts and the way the shape of the muscle is, because you see John Jewett's leg is very, very thick, but it's a side to side thickness and not necessarily a front to back thickness because of the way it sweeps. Now, quarter turn with Keon and Kareth. Again, Kareth's legs are thicker. Keon looks like he's in a little bit better condition. He's showing more detail through the intercostals here, or sorry, the obliques and chest. You can see the equal striations, arms, maybe a little bit more detail in Keon's arm. Overall, they're pretty close. I think Kareth, as the name of the game, the story has been Kareth is a little thicker, Keon's a little bit harder. Ahmed looks pretty good here. Definitely heavier up top than John being heavier on the bottom. That's how that story's going so far. And then as they go through their poses, we'll take a look. Front double, as we said, kind of went through them already. So, we can go through them again. It's fine. I just, I kind of feel like we've been through these. Transitions matter a bit. We can watch them kind of go through their poses. Yeah, Ahmed in video, when you watch him move, you can see is very thick. And I think that's what's going to help him kind of carry over John. John's hamstring is just ridiculous in this side shot. But they have equal conditioning. I think John's a little bit better conditioned than Ahmad, but Ahmad's a little thicker, rounder. It's it's tough. These guys are all very, third and fourth could be a flip flop, and first and second could be a flip flop to me. Actually, now that I'm looking at the back, and here you see Oswaldo is in his pose. Glutes are not as striated as Jason's. Jason's hamstrings are completely stripped. He's dry all through the lower back, dry through the glute. I feel like Oswaldo might be holding a little bit, but I think the muscle is going to carry him over Jason. So let's just kind of go through these a little bit more. Very impressive physiques on all these guys. This is a really, really good 212 lineup. Back lat spread, you can see here the difference of what I'm talking about. Jason's back, this is fully open, kind of loses the detail because if you try and open it too far, you start to lose detail. It doesn't really flow out into the tricep, where you can see here in Oswaldo's back, it's definitely thicker through the lower part, and it's kind of flowing all the way out closer to the tricep. You can see detail in the rhomboids area. So I think that muscle, that muscularity, his legs are very, very thick too. That muscle is what's going to carry Oswaldo over, but I don't know, because if they're going for conditioning, Jason could pull it out, but I do think Oswaldo's got the fifth place spot locked up. And then in the back between Kareth and Keon, you see it's a little bit interesting because Keon's back is much thicker all the way through the lat. It's definitely flowing out a lot further, but Kareth has a more detail and thickness. Now, it could be a matter of how they're posing. If you look at their arms, Kareth's arm is going straight out, and he's trying to keep his back completely flat to show the detail, whereas Keon's arms are kind of being pulled forward. You see his elbow is rotated forward. That rotation forward is going to bring out this lat further. You're going to have more lat thickness, but it's also going to eliminate some of the detail through the middle because now you've stretched it further out. So it might not be that Keon's back is bigger. It might be the way they're posing. From the bottom, Kareth's hamstring is showing more detail. Glutes, although not strided, do look harder. And there's more detail on the calf. So I think it's going to come down to, are they okay with Keon being a 1 or 2% softer than he should be? Because he could be harder than this, but I do still think his shape is going to carry him over. Let's just go through a couple more. From the back, Kareth looks incredible. Keon, like I said, Keon's back is definitely bigger, but Kareth's legs are what really are kind of setting him apart here. He's not opening this up all the way. There you go. You just see it pop open a bit more. And as we go through the side tricep, there's a little bit of more, there's a bit more dryness through Kareth's leg than there is through Keon's. Ahmed's muscularity is, I think, going to pull him into third from what I'm seeing here. But, you know, it really comes down to what the judges want. Do they want conditioning? Do they want shape? Do they want muscularity? What do they? They're going to look for someone with a total package because everybody's kind of missing something a little bit. Kareth is close to having the best package. His waist is throwing him off a little bit. Standing next to Keon, not that his waist is big, it's just standing next to Keon is tough because Keon's structure and shape is probably the best in the IFBB that I can think of off the top of my head right now. And there, actually, I just want to go back for a second so you guys can see this is what I'm talking about here. So when you look at this ab and thigh, one second, let John get into it. So when you look at this ab and thigh, no, they're not flexing anymore. Let me go back a bit. Right here. I think this is the best kind of shot. If you look at Ahmed and you look at John, you kind of see the difference of what I'm talking about. So John is probably, you know, if I had to guess being there, John is more conditioned. But Ahmed is showing much more thickness and shape through the quad, and that kind of goes throughout the rest of his physique too. So I think they're going to take that muscularity over the conditioning of John, but I just not sure, obviously. I think enthusiasm matters too. Ahmed looks excited. He's stepping forward. He's being aggressive. I think that captures judges, but John looks professional. He's confident. He's doing his thing. And we're kind of coming up to the end here. You know, standing there at the end, when you look, is very tough to discount Kareth. He's very, very thick. He's got a good X frame. It's just when Keon's not posing right now. So Keon looks tired, stomach's a little bit relaxed, and he's kind of standing there. The thing is, they're still looking at these guys. Even though they're done, they're still kind of looking at them. And when you're standing relaxed like this and Kareth is still in shape, it's kind of earning him points. So I hope, you know, Keon pulls it up, and he doesn't. Because Keon's strongest pose is when he's in his relaxed pose with the vacuum going. So this standing here right now is, you know, if they're still looking at them, which they may be, is kind of working against him because Kareth is still holding tight this whole time. Ahmed looks ready to go. He's on fire. Oh, they're going to do it a couple more. Here we go. So they're going to take another look. A front double. See, as Keon poses that, once he gets into that vacuum, it's a much different story. Now he looks like he has the best shape in the lineup. He has faded a little bit through prejudging, whereas I think Kareth maybe got a little bit better. I think John has faded a little bit through prejudging as well. Ahmed is still holding tight. So I think that's the end of that video. All right, guys, tough show, right? I mean, we were checking that thing out. It's like first and second to me are super close. Third and fourth are super close. Keon, amazing structure, amazing shape. Looks like like a statue of what a bodybuilder should be, right? Kareth, ton of muscle, very, very heavily muscled, really thick chest, really thick legs, great from the back of the leg, especially. John Jewett peeled out of his mind. Ahmed, awesome shape and roundness to the muscle bellies. Oswaldo, it's the first time I've seen him compete. Big, good structure. I don't know how much bigger he can get and still be a 212 guy, but he looks like a promising 212 competitor if he can get thicker and still make that weight. And Jason Hebert, also the first time I've seen him compete. Good structure, good lines, great conditioning, needs a little bit thicker back, but awesome for the first time I've seen him on stage. I don't know if this is his debut or not, but great physique. So great show all around. I love it when there's a contest that flip placings can be flip-flopped and nobody can really complain. Honestly, everybody obviously has their favorites. You know, there's the Keon favorites and the John Jewett favorites and the Ahmed favorites. And I think Kareth is a little bit flying under the radar. Not a lot of people know who Kareth is, but I think it's really interesting that 1 and 2, and to me, is Keon and Kareth, and those two could flip, and I don't think anybody would complain. And I think 3 and 4, as I have it right now, are John and Ahmed. I could be totally wrong. John could be second. John could be first. I don't know. But as I have it now, I have Keon, Kareth, first, second, and I have John and Ahmed third and fourth. Those two spots can be flip-flopped. I can't really make a judgment based on what I've seen for any clear winner. Keon has the best shape, and his conditioning is a touch off. I don't think it's going to be enough off for him not to win. So I think Keon will pull it out. Kareth, I think, can't be denied. His structure and proportions are pretty incredible. He's very thick and very heavily muscled for a 212 guy. I think he'll be second. Third and fourth is interesting because now you have a size conditioning issue. I think Ahmed's size and muscle bellies are rounder and shapelier, I guess, for lack of a better word, than John Jewett. But John Jewett is just absolutely shredded, and may also be rewarded because I think this is his fourth show this year, or third. I think it's his fourth show this year, maybe third. I don't know, but regardless, he's maybe just rewarded based on his conditioning alone. So those two, I think, are the fight for third and fourth. And then I think Oswaldo and Jason Oswaldo's going to be fifth. Jason's going to be sixth. Jason, based only on his thickness of his back, could be a little bit better. But other than that, great lines, great conditioning. It's a great show. Great 212 show. I love seeing shows where there's that real battle and placings could flip-flop. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to finals. I hope you guys enjoyed the wrap-up. Train hard, sacrifice without regret, and check out all our merch and supplements at hostile.com, hostile with 2 S's. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.